Hello, everyone. Day early because I'm probably away tomorrow. So today's Friday's episode, in essence, single wrestlers day. And last week I had the pick, and I chose Tatanka. Um, like a guilty pleasure of mine. Not everyone's cup of tea, really. Tatanka, I don't think. When you mention him, some people go, "Yeah," don't they?
Yeah.
But like, I think he's cracking.
Oh, I was a big Tatanka fan. I was, to be fair,
Yeah.
growing up. Like,
Like, I've mentioned it to a few people, and they've been, "Yeah, Tatanka." Yeah, nobody shits on him. No one says, "Oh, what a lot of bollocks," but it's not someone that anyone kind of puts on the fucking top 20 list.
but I think he
You
was
know?
ideal for that time. Like,
Yeah.
like because he didn't have that kind of gimmick, and it was all about gimmicks when he came out, like in the early days. So, to be fair, I think he was fucking bang on. To be
What I
honest.
noticed from all of these matches is he's a fucking spectacle, with the big
Yeah,
headdress and, he's
yeah.
a massive man.
Oh,
And
absolutely. And they'd always had like Indians, hadn't they, and people like that. But
yeah,
so it was just like a fucking tradition for the WWF to have someone like that, and I
yeah,
thought he'd
like,
done great.
the Native Americans, there's always been, from Strongbows and fucking, Waham
Yeah,
McDaniels in the NWA and shit. You know what I mean? There's always been the fucking feathers and stuff in there. So,
oh
yeah,
yeah.
for that period, I suppose they were lacking for like 10 years before he arrived, really, wouldn't they? So
Well, yeah, they
it was
were.
about
Yeah.
time he had one. So, yeah. So I found out about Tatanka's, how he got in wrestling, and it's a right place, right time kind of thing. He was born Chris Chavis, even though the first match I watched was like one before he was Tatanka, and they call him Chavis. So I don't know whether it's Chavis or Chavis or what. But
Oh,
he was
okay.
born June 8th, 1961, which makes him 59, which is older than I thought he was, to be fair. Still looks fucking good for 59.
Oh yeah.
But he got into wrestling because he was in the video shop, like fucking blockbuster style.
Right.
And Buddy Rogers just happened to be in there,
All
as
right.
Buddy Rogers does. Like, why would Buddy Rogers not want to get RoboCop out on a fucking Thursday night? And Tatanka was a big lad, and Buddy Rogers saw him looking at the wrestling videos and said, "You ought to get in touch with Larry Sharp," which he
Right.
did, and the rest from there is fucking history, isn't it? And
Yeah.
like, how cool is that to just randomly bump into fucking Buddy Rogers in Blockbusters?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's.
a way to get in. Um, as far as his fucking wrestling break goes, he started wrestling in 1990 for
Mm-hmm.
North Atlantic Wrestling, which suddenly became South Atlantic Wrestling. I don't know how an area could fucking move from north to south in such a short time, but the same promotion. And then through George Scott, he got his WWF tryout a year later. So a year into wrestling, he's got a fucking WWF tryout, which now is normal, and it like people fucking walking off the street. But then,
Oh
you
yeah.
know,
Yeah.
1991, everyone was pretty much established. But even before he got there, he was PWI runner-up of the Rookie of the Year in 1990. So that's that he must have had fucking eyes on him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, January '91, he had a tryout against Dusty Wolf, and then they just kept hold of him, undefeated until 1993. So that's a pretty fucking big thing as well, isn't it?
Yeah. They really built that up, didn't they? Like with his
Yeah,
undefeated streak. I remember.
proper
Yeah.
big. Million Dollar Corporation, 94 to 96, when he turned heel, which was pretty good stuff as well. I really quite like that. Always potted around the Indies afterwards, always busy and traveling the world as well, like went everywhere. Appearances in WWE 05, 06, and again in 10, and then sporadic bits in between. Championships wise, this is a good one, to be fair. He was USWA champion when they had the little agreement with the WWF, but he's also had championships in the newer version of Stampede Wrestling. He was North American champion. He's
Right.
had championships Italy, Israel, Germany, Holland, Austria, Denmark, and several shitpot indie promotions. But fucking hell, he gets about, doesn't he?
Fucking hell, yeah, that's good going that.
you know, and that's not just, you know, if you're champion of a promotion abroad, you're clearly going to go back.
Yeah.
You know, like every promotion everywhere has a big name on. They bring him in for a show, and you know, whatever.
Yeah.
That's lovely. If they're going to put the championship on him, they're obviously going to have him back, right?
Mm.
So to get that in all those countries is pretty cool. So we watched four each. Are quite a big time frame here, from like 90 to, I suppose I got 12, 13 years. What was your first?
My first match was from the 1st of February 1992
Okay.
against Pat Tanaka.
Nice.
And Vince on commentary actually says that it's his WWF debut.
In 92?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
That's what they're saying. Whether it maybe his televised debut or whatnot, I don't know. But
they like having them then and putting them on TV were very different things, weren't they? I suppose they'd sort of put them on the road a bit and see if they can handle it, maybe, and you know, put them on fucking first match and see what goes.
Yeah. But it's funny because actually, when he's making his entrance like as Tatanka with the big fucking head shit and all that on, but Vince is still calling him Chris Chavis. He's literally like, he's like, and here's Chris Chavis coming to the ring, and then the fucking ring announcer's like, and here's Tatanka. So it's like,
no one's told Vince. What would
and
Vince
then
know? He just fucking runs the place, right?
But and then Vince catches on, and he's like, he now goes by the name of Tatanka, but I don't think he fucking knew that, to be fair, until he had the announcer say it. But the match itself was all right. It was generally one-sided with Pat Tanaka fucking do the old big man thing where he pushes fucking Tanaka down, goes to tie up again, blocks a hip toss, gives fucking Pat Tanaka a hip toss. Fucking Tanaka gives him a kick to the chops for the cut off. And there's a very, very, very little fucking heat. And then he does like a flying forearm to the fucking chops for the finish, for the win. It was basic, it was simple, but it's really enjoyable though. Very crisp as well. Like really, really crisp. It was decent though. It was only a short match, 3-4 minutes. But that was good.
It's bound to be crisp with Tatanka in it, isn't it? Because Tanaka rather.
Yeah, and fucking
him.
His fucking selling is incredible, and the way because he's quite a small guy, Pat Tanaka. He's really, really short, like a really small guy, and he makes people look fucking like incredible. Just the way he reacts, the way he sells things. He's brilliant, Pat Tanaka. So, it was really good.
Mine was, I'm guessing 1990 because it's from that South Atlantic Wrestling.
Right. Okay.
Which I googled South Atlantic Wrestling on its own just to find out the exact year because there was nothing on the YouTube. You know, there's no date or nothing.
Okay.
And it was run by Paul Jones, the old manager from the NWA, and Frank Ducey, who was involved in World Class. And it's Chris Chavis. They call him Chavis versus Dr. X. Who knows who Dr. X is? But this fucking dude, whoever's in the mask, knows he's wrestling as well. Like, he's real good. Mm-hmm. Even then, Tatanka looked like Tatanka, you know what I mean? Like, he was the same, only in fucking orange and white. It's all very, like yours, very one-sided. But this Dr. X dude, you know, when he cuts him off, he proper knows the score. Frank Dusick is doing the commentary. I recognise the voice from World Class tapes I've got. All very much power, like Tatanka's fucking slamming him around here, there, and everywhere. All smooth, real smooth. And this Dr. X is bumping like right good for him. X cuts him off, and then there's like right good heel stuff. Big power slam, the war dance thing, chops, and a Samoan drop was the finish, which he used in the WWF as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was right good. They called him War Eagle, Chris Chavis.
All right, okay.
But yeah, same gimmick, just different colours. Yeah, good. Enjoyed it. And that Dr. X, don't know who he is, but, you know, proper class.
Sweet.
Good on you.
Mm.
What's next?
My next one is either, you know, the way the Americans write the dates, whether the fucking month is before the date or whatever, but it's either the 5th of the 2nd or the 2nd of the 5th. But it's from 95.
Okay.
It's from 95 anyway, so it's either from fucking May or February, one or the other. But anyway, yeah, from 95, Action Zone against the very, very young Matt Hardy.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Like in actual, like jazzy coloured tights, Matt Hardy.
This one was fucking even before that. This was like his tights were pretty plain. They were like, I think one leg was white and one was maybe blue or yellow or something, but they were just basic. They weren't, it was before they got all the fucking snazzy stuff. But and Matt must have been young as fuck here though. Like he only looked about
Is
16.
Matt the one that lied about his age to get there?
I think that was Jeff, because Jeff's the younger one, isn't he?
Okay.
So I don't know what the year difference between them is, maybe 3 years or something. I don't know. But Matt looks really young, about 16, 17 he looks here, but could be a bit older, I don't know. But what have I got here? Actually, yeah, this match I was expecting to be a bit of a fucking squash, to be fair, you know, but obviously, like at this point, like Tatanka's like turned heel because he's like, you know, with a, you know, like against the face Matt Hardy, and then basically Matt Hardy has a lot of fucking offense in this match. Like, really, I was expecting, you know, at this point of like Matt's career to basically get the shit kicked out of him, and but he has like he does a spot where he ducks the line crossbody for a near fall, fucking hits a small package for a near fall. There's a bit of a dodgy fucking. He's running like to tank. He's running off the ropes, and like he ducks like an invisible clothesline because Tatanka don't throw anything. And
It's probably hallucinating. You know what he's like, fucking Hardy boy.
yeah. So
Chasing the dragon, isn't he?
you are.
Chasing the dragon, wasn't he? He's like, fucking clothesline.
So he's hitting the ropes, fucking just then he just starts running with his fucking head down for some reason, like he's ducking a fucking pigeon or something, I don't know. But then he comes back, he hits a bulldog though, which looked pretty sweet. So he kind of made up for the fucking, you know, blunder, whatever. Doesn't go for a pin though. And then he misses later on, he gives fucking Tatanka a slam, and it looks like fucking because Matt Hardy here, Matt's not a big guy anyway, but here he looks fucking half the size he is now, like, you know, really, really small, but he still picks up Tatanka for a slam, fucking slams him, then goes from like a springboard, like moonsault off the middle ropes, off the like top rope, I mean, but like the middle of the ring, not like the corner. Fucking misses that, and then Simone dropped for the fucking win. It was a decent match, to be fair, and Matt looked more. He didn't look like a job guy. Like during the match, he looked like he was capable of, you knew he wasn't going to win, but he looked like he could fucking, he could like at one point. Yeah, so it was all right actually. It was decent, to be fair.
I wouldn't be expecting that.
No,
my next three, I've kind of taken a big jump in time because I've done all the rest are independent shows. I haven't done anything in the WWF.
all right, okay.
But they're all against like established former WWF wrestlers. So
Right, okay.
the second one I've done was from Pro Wrestling International, which is apparently in Illinois, from May 1999. And it's against Chains of the DOA, a la Brian Lee, the Undertaker. Tatanka's got a bout on here, so it's like for their fucking whatever the fuck championship it is. And as soon as the music plays, fucking place boom. It's it's like one of them sort of community centre, leisure centre kind of looking buildings, and the place fucking blows up because it's just as soon as he comes through the door, he's a fucking spectacle, isn't he? Like see, it's just a few steps up, and you see that headdress and shit, and it's right over, and there's a right good house, a lot of people. Jumpstart. Brian Lee jumps him. I've always been a Brian Lee fan as well, so that's part of the attraction here. fucking jump start, big boot to Tatanka, fucking Brian Lee's mocking the war chant thing, you know, ooh, which is probably racist nowadays. You probably won't be able to do it. Probably get you kicked off television, wouldn't it? Tatanka fires up and fucking starts chopping. Brian Lee goes for a walk. Now this for me is real cool and like, you know, just shows the professionalism of someone that's been around like Brian Lee. There's a shed load of complaining into the referee. You know, he pulled me hair, he did this, he did that. And then there's like a boring chant from people because Brian Lee's out the ring. It's not like the action's boring; it's the fact there isn't any, and Brian Lee's getting out the ring all the time. And so he's in the ring when they start chanting boring, and he gets out again.
Right.
And I think that's fucking brilliant because, like, you know, like a lot of people would panic and think, "Shit, we need to do something here." And he's like, "Nah, fuck that, off we go." And you know, he's here, there, and everywhere, and fucking in and out of the ring. And there's heat, so why get in there and do shit when there's heat? And he keeps getting out, and it's brilliant. It's really good, and it's getting over. They're shouting boring, but it's still over boring. It's not like an actual boredom boring.
Yeah.
Brian Lee throws Tatanka out, you know, once the heat starts, and he's eating him with a fucking bin, and then there's an ECW chant. So they're like these fucking smart idiot crowd, probably. You know, they're hitting each other with fucking chairs. It's getting a bit ECW here. Anyway, fucking Tatanka gets thrown into the post outside the ring, back in the ring, the heat's on. Brian Lee misses a top rope knee drop, and then there's the old lines and the chops and the war dance and the chop to the head, you know, that fucking thing that he does, Tatanka.
Yeah.
There's a whip into the Tatanka goes into the referee's dead. Tatanka goes top rope, up with a chop on the top, boom. It looks like Tatanka's on him, could win now quite happily. Referee's dead, nothing's happened. Tatanka's up to look at the ref. Chains gets the belt, which has been in the corner of the ring all along, clocks in with the belt. We've got a new pro wrestling international champion, very prestigious, I'm sure it is. But it was really good. There wasn't a lot to it. Like, it was a long match, but it was all heat rather than wrestling, and Brian Lee knew how to get heat. You know what I mean? It was good. Enjoyed that. What's next?
My next one is from 1996. I don't have the date, but it's I had to put this one on because I've never fucking seen it before. But it's against Bret Hart from '96.
Oh, okay.
So you know, and I've never seen like this match, like Tatanka as a heel taking on Bret. So I thought I'd stick this one on, and it's just before WrestleMania 12 as well because they're always going on about the Iron Man match. So this was literally like just before it. Tatanka just takes over straight away, fucking almost like a jump. He just like they go for it, and Tatanka's fucking in control straight away. Whips Bret into the corner, who puts up a big boot, gets him right in the fucking Elgin as he's running into the corner. Fucking then it's like all arm work by Bret as he does. Then the 1, 2, 3 kid for some reason comes down, being part of the fucking, they're like group of guys. So 1, 2, 3 kids down there for the fucking like just being a little shit, to be fair. Oh yeah, he goes for just after the kid comes down, goes for a hip toss. Like Bret goes for the hip toss, Tatanka blocks it and then fucking nails him with a line. That's the cut off, and basically just all heat on Bret there. It was actually a pretty enjoyable match, to be fair. And the finish comes with fucking the old thing that we do, like loads of times. The whole fucking kid's got Bret on the ropes holding him, and Bret fucking moves, fucking collision and fucking roll up by Bret on Tatanka for the finish. Crowd fucking popped like crazy and stuff. But it was good. It was probably 10 minutes or something. But and it was good to see them because, like I say, didn't even know this match existed, to be honest.
No.
And it's like
no, I don't. It's not springing to mind. So yeah, we're kids.
No, it was quite a rare one, but very enjoyable though. Yeah, very enjoyable. No, it was decent. So
sweet. My next one's from Florida, December 2002. Jimmy Del Rey's the referee, you know, from the Heavenly Bodies.
Okay.
And it's versus Steve Kern as Skinner. Steve Kern as Doink, sorry.
Oh yeah. This is my fourth match.
All right, okay.
Yeah, I thought you might pick this one, but I picked it because I wanted to watch it anyway. So,
I thought it was really good.
This was my favourite one of the four that I picked. This was actually the one I
like
enjoyed.
a baseball football stadium kind of place, isn't it?
Yeah, it was like at half time, weren't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really good. Like, you got to see Steve Kern's wrestling at the start, you know, with the arm stuff.
Yeah.
The people are really close, so it has to look fucking legit anyway.
Yeah. And I'm guessing a lot of people there weren't wrestling fans as well.
No, I doubt it.
So they had to kind of, you know, make it, you know, decent enough, you know what I mean? Like believable enough.
You can do with a clown wig on.
Yeah.
You know, fucking as a clown wrestling a Red Indian, it's a little bit fucking suspect already, isn't it? But you know, as real as you can be. But there's like right good selling, like Doink selling is fucking brilliant, I think, in this.
Yeah.
And I've written slow, effective, and easy. You know, even though it was relatively slow, it was still really effective. And Doink's really pissing people off all the way through, and he's loud, you know, which I think you have to be with non-wrestling fans as such.
Yeah, definitely.
Pulling the string out and doing the fucking choking was cool. Arguing with the referee, and then some dude come like Doink wins in essence, don't he, with the feet on the ropes.
Yeah.
Then some dude comes in, which I can only imagine is something to do with the baseball team that they're wrestling for, or football team, or whoever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
And there's a roll up, like. But yeah, I really liked it. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was the best, my favorite one of the four. Well, I enjoyed all four, to be fair. But I'd probably put that one probably my favorite out of the four. I was reading
the promo at the start as well. Did you see the joint promo?
Oh yeah. That was good.
I'm saying that, you know, by the time this is done, you'll hate me, you'll hate my kids, you'll hate my family, you'll hate my cat. And I thought that was brilliant. You know.
I was reading the comments as well, and I read a comment by some fucking idiot saying that saying that Doink was like fucking shit or something. He's like, he didn't even do anything. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and his comments like that make me think, fucking shut up, you twat, and fucking turn your fucking laptop off, you daft cunt. But you know what I mean?
I like Doink based comments, right? It really fucks me off because they're like, yeah, Matt Bourne's dead. Yeah. Matt Bourne is dead. Yeah, that is official. But nobody gives a fuck when they see an executioner or a fucking, you know, some other mass gimmick. That's perfectly acceptable. But when they see a Doink, doesn't matter who the fuck is being Doink. It's not Doink. Oh, fuck off. Just get an haircut, join a club, fuck off. Just let it be. Do you know what I noticed as well? Like, Jimmy Del Rey and Steve Kern would have known each other from way back in Florida times. And they're talking to each other clearly and smirking and clearly having a good time, right? Because it's a little show in the middle of nowhere. Let's have a nice time.
Yeah.
Yet Tatanka is fucking deadpan face, like serious. You know, whether he's like not in the fucking Florida clique, so he don't quite get it, or whether he is actually that serious. But he didn't seem to be having as much of a good time as Steve Kern and Jimmy Del Rey did.
No.
But yeah, loved it.
Yeah,
so that was your last one, was it? Have you done your others?
Yeah, that was my last one. Yeah.
So I've only got one more then. And this is the one I've never written more than a page per match, and I've done like page and a half on this fucker, so it's a big bad boy. It's a 20-minute match as well. I couldn't find an exact date, but I've Googled the promotion and it ran from 98 to 2003. So it's at some point during that period.
Right.
It's called Future of Wrestling, again from Florida. And I'm guessing it's early 2000s by the look of Marty Jannetty. So he's against Marty Jannetty.
All right. Okay. All
It
right.
starts two faces, right?
Okay.
And then that, like, everything's rosy. There's like fucking nice wrestling going on. And then there's a Marty Sucks chant. Fuck knows where it starts or comes from. So Marty Sucks starts, and Marty's like fucking slows down a little bit and gets a little heely. And then there's a Where's Shawn Michaels chant.
Right.
So that adds fuel to the fire. Marty looks really good here. Like, he's moving really well, like, because he's got that dodgy ankle and that virtually bends. You can't really notice that. He's moving good. He's got a full head of hair. He's in shape. He's looking really good. So, guessing the time period is probably the latest is early 2000s. So maybe this might have been even before the Doink match, to be fair. So Marty's not a heel yet until Tatanka chops him. And then he's like, whoa, bastard. You know what I mean? So he's like, fucking, why would my mate do that to me, kind of thing? But he doesn't full on fucking heel turn. Like, he's just getting more angry. And then there's a bit of a shoving going on. And then there's like a spot where Tatanka sends him off, and there's a baseball slide. Marty Jannetty goes through his legs, baseball slide. And then as Tatanka turns around, he just pops him with a punch. And easy as that. Now he's in. You're like, that's simple, but fucking Marty knows what he's doing, you know what I mean? And now Marty chops in, have that, you cunt, do you know what I mean? Have that back. It's proper good psychology, which they probably would have had to call on the fly, because who would have known who was going to be the heel? Could have gone either way, couldn't it? Or neither way. It's a two-part of this. So that was up to the first part. Then it goes into part two. Right. And the heat's on now. Like, Marty's getting the heat on. And now Marty's laying the chops in, and there's a fucking HBK chant, which just pisses Marty off even more. So it's like the crowd are helping the heel along, like, you know what I mean? Like, helping get more heel heat. There's a fucking Marty's out the ring, and when he gets back in, he does a baseball slide again, which is really cool. He like holds on the middle rope and pulls himself through under Tatanka, which is like right, and then he turns around and sort of X Factors him. Tatanka's posted. Marty runs at him, catches a boot first time, elbow the second time, and then misses the third time. Tatanka fires up there, and the old war dance and the chop and the fucking head chops. There's a slam. Up Tatanka goes. Another big head chop thing. 10 punches. Tatanka had a bit of issue getting up to the fucking middle of the rope, but I would as well, so I'm not knocking for that. Marty low blows him. The heat's back on. Pushes him back, feet on the rope, same style as Doink did in the last one. There's just the two. The referee sees it, but he doesn't tell Marty, so Marty thinks he's won.
Right, okay.
And then all of a sudden, two fucking random villains appear out of nowhere and just fucking attack Tatanka. Now, I'm sure this would have made sense if you kept up with the promotion or what was going on, but to me it didn't. But it became clearer a bit later on, do you know what I mean? So they're now attacking fucking Tatanka. So now I'm thinking, okay, Marty's definitely the villain. He's with these other villains. And then the villains have started attacking Jannetty as well. They double suplexed Tatanka. They double backdrop Marty. So like, they're working hard. These fucking, anyone that says these older boys slow down, they fucking don't on the indies. They're still going really well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the two legends, the WWF boys are laying dead. The two villains that have appeared are also got two managers with them. So that says to me that they're not a team. They're just two angry villains that have just joined together because they've got two different managers.
Right, okay, yeah.
All of a sudden, Tatanka's up, and he fucking Samoan drops the one wrestler, whereas the fucking rocker dropper on the other wrestler, they're dead. And then there's fucking all sorts of shit going on. There's fucking the managers come in and they get a battering as well. There's a fucking super kick to a manager. And so they're all out the ring now, and then there's like a bit of a G going on for a tag. You know what I mean? Which makes sense to have Tatanka and Jannetty are going to be tagging together against these other two no names who are clearly known in that promotion, in that town, in that room. So it does make sense, but it needed, it just took a bit of working out. But fucking, what shocked me out of all of it is one, the ability to think on the fly like Jannetty did, and the timing was fucking bang on. To get him to that heel point, and then get back to the babyface point after the villains came in, which I suppose is also the power of the villains. The ability of the villains. And they worked so fucking hard. Like, they were moving all the time. It wasn't one of those old timers fucking, it's only an indie show kind of matches. They really worked hard, which in essence Tatanka did in all of those indie shows. And I've seen a few others, like literally the last couple of years, and he's still working hard. I don't know if he's still.
I know that Malin had him not that long ago, a couple of years ago, maybe now. I think he was over here. I think it was Southside, right. And Malin was saying that, like, he had a great time with him. Like, literally, it's not like he came over and couldn't be asked. He came all the way over here and still working hard and everything, still doing, putting a shift in and that. And I think I think a lot of guys do that. Like, they get a bad rep, I think, sometimes. He's just after a paycheck, or, they fucking, it's not the case at all,
No, I mean, I'm not saying it isn't, because some do and some take advantage of that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, definitely. But I mean, there's a lot.
Yeah, good on him. So that was Tatanka.
Yeah.
4 bouters. Can't knock any of them, even in his youth. In his youth, there was no difference in his wrestling to his older times, which is a proper good thumbs up to his longevity. You know what I mean? Good on him.
Yeah, no, really enjoyable, these Tatanka matches.
I remember seeing him. I've only seen him once. I saw him in Bristol on an All-Star show. He was wrestling Blondie, and that's the only time I've ever seen him. I've seen him on WWF shows live, but not little shows. I know he's been on for Mad Dog.
I think a
couple of times, yeah. So, well, he's got to be good if he still has him back, like, so. Yeah, Bouting. That was Tatanka, winner. Good choice. Next week, we need to pick what's what. So it's tag day on Monday.
Yeah.
Right. I like to do shit different, don't I? It's what I do. It's how I roll, yeah? So, my tag team pick is just one person, but you have to watch him in tag matches.
All right, okay.
Because this person has had like a load of tag partners, and I'm a big fan of all of them. Like, it's Jack Victory. Like, Jack Victory teamed with John Tatum in like UWF and World Class. Rick Morgan as the fucking Royal Family in WCW and Smoky Mountain. Eddie Gilbert. He teamed with fucking Francine, I think, in ECW, and Steve Corino. But yeah, like most of the things he's done. Oh, the Sheepherders. He did the wave the flag for the Sheepherders. The original Midnight Express, I think, with Randy Rose. He was like Dennis Condrey's substitute.
Right. Okay.
Russian Assassins. He was one of them in the NWA.
Yeah.
There's literally not a fucking team that Jack Victory ain't been in. So, yeah, tag matches with Jack Victory is my tag team pick, which is unique, but still some bouting tag matches. Like, him and Tatum and the Fantastics are fucking just amazing. And there's like a million different ones of them on YouTube. Yeah. Wednesday, we're doing the territory thing.
Yeah.
and we're going to Florida in 1987. I googled Florida as a territory, and that was the last year. So
All
it's a
right.
bit ass backwards, but a good place to start, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And then we could, when we do Florida again, we'll do some like right old one as like the contrast. Yeah, so Florida from '87. It's a TV show from virtually the same fucking date, to be fair, like late September, early October, or whatever it is of 1987. And then
Oh.
Friday is your singles pick.
Yeah. So
What
my singles pick, I'm gonna go with a guy that I'd already had in mind until I changed it to Kamala with the situation that happened, like, not that long ago. So, and I was thinking it's someone that you'll love as well. And you see, if someone was to ask you your top, like, let's say your top 30 wrestlers, it would probably change every time, wouldn't it? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because there'd always be people, fuck.
I've been asked that so many times, and I find it really hard to do.
Yeah, like I just can't fucking do it. Like,
Write things down for a week, and then you think, "Fuck me, what about him?" But then who do I
yeah.
lose?
Because I remember one saying who I thought, like, I put the 5 best heels of all time, and like I've always said, like, Rick Rude is like the greatest heel I ever seen. But when I'd done this list, I forgot about him. I didn't even fucking put him in. I was like, oh fuck, like, you know what I mean? So it's like it's so
But
hard.
that's not to say that the other 5 can't outdo fucking Rick Rude
Yeah,
easily. But yet in another match, Rick Rude is the greatest ever.
yeah,
And like
like,
fucking for me, Piper's a great villain, but will he be the greatest of all time villain? You just don't. It's fucking
it is.
impossible to do a top of anything, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Like the top 5 is fucking impossible. Top 20 is hard enough, but the top 5 is fucking crazy. But anyway, the guy that I've chose is someone that I would put in my top 30, probably occasionally, because I fucking love him. But Coco Beware.
Nice. That's a fine choice.
Yeah, I love some Coco. Like,
And a friend of Kamala's.
eh?
A friend of Kamala's.
Yeah, yeah.
Coco bought Kamala's wheelchair, didn't he?
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
I think.
when he had his other leg off and he needed it.
All right, I think I might have read that
Coco
actually.
that bought him the wheelchair.
All
So
right,
yeah,
but
so
yeah,
it's in keeping with your fucking Kamala pick.
yeah.
Yeah, you're like when you think about top 30s, putting Coco in a top 30 for us wouldn't be unusual.
No.
Putting Coco in a top 30 for most normal wrestling fans, which I don't think we are by any stretch of the imagination. We're far from normal wrestling fans, to be fair. The shit we watch is
Well,
far from wrestling. Like, it's fine wrestling, it's fucking brilliant wrestling, but it's not the normal route, is it?
no,
Wicked,
no.
yeah. So Jack Victory in tags, Florida 87, and Coco is next week.
Yeah.
Outing. See people then. This has been Tatanka. Thank you.